Greetings, fellow Whovians. Hope you're having a good week so far. Well, today we're going to take a look at what is considered to be one of, if not the best, Fourth Doctor story, City of Death. So, here we go. While in Paris, the Doctor and Romana sense the effects of time distortion. They observe the Countess Scaglione using an alien device to scan the security systems housing Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa at the Louvre. The pair meet Inspector Dugan, who suspects the Countess to be involved in an ongoing art theft scheme with her husband, Count Scaglione. Dugan joins the Doctor and Romana investigating the Scaglione mansion. There, they find equipment used by Dr. Kerensky to experiment in time, the source of the time distortions, as well as six exact copies of the Mona Lisa. The Doctor instructs Romana and Dugan to continue investigating while he returns to the TARDIS to visit Da Vinci, a good friend of his. After the Doctor leaves, the Count returns after successfully stealing the Mona Lisa and captures Romana and Dugan. Learning that Romana is familiar with time, he kills Dr. Kerensky and forces Romana to continue the tests. Dun dun dun. In the past, the Doctor arrives at Da Vinci's home but is captured by Captain Tancredi, who appears identical to Count Scaglione. Tancredi reveals he is really a Scarif, a member of the Jaggeroth race. They had arrived on Earth 400 million years ago, but due to an explosion in their craft, all of the others died and his own body was fragmented across time. Fragments. Why does that sound so familiar? Collectively, the fragments of Scarif have manipulated humanity so that by the 20th century, they will have technology that will enable him to go back in time to stop the explosion. Tancredi is currently employing Da Vinci to create copies of the Mona Lisa to finance Scaglione's work. After Tancredi leaves, the Doctor knocks out his captor, marks the blank canvases with a felt-tip pen, and leaves a message to Da Vinci to paint over his writing before returning to the present. Smart plan. The Doctor learns Scarif threatens to destroy Paris if Romana does not continue the work. He tries to gain the Countess's help by showing him the Count's true form, but he kills her. Romana completes the adjustments, and Scarif uses it to travel to the past. The Doctor quickly ushers Romana and Dugan to the TARDIS, fearing that the ship's explosion was the spark that started the development of life on Earth, and if Scarif should prevent it, humanity would not come about. And that would definitely not be a good thing. They arrive in time for Dugan to knock Scarif out before he can reach the ship. Scarif's body returns to the present, and when his alien form is discovered by his bodyguard, they get into a fight that damages the equipment and sets the mansion on fire, killing them both. By the time the Doctor, Romana, and Dugan arrive, the original Mona Lisa and 5 of the 6 copies have been burnt, but the last copy remains safe. Yay! Dugan argues that they've lost an invaluable piece of art, but the Doctor assures him that the copy, still done by Da Vinci's hand, will go unnoticed, and that art is worthless if its monetary value is all that matters. Indeed. The Doctor and Romana say goodbye to Dugan at the Eiffel Tower. Wow, that was a pretty interesting story, wasn't it? Anyway, let's look at some production notes here, shall we? Writer David Fisher had contributed 2 scripts to Doctor Who's 16th season, The Stones of Blood and The Androids of Tara, and was asked by producer Graham Williams for further story ideas. Fisher submitted 2 proposals. The first of these became The Creature from the Pit, while the other, The Gamble with Time, concerned a plot to rig the casinos in Las Vegas to finance time travel experiments. Williams asked Fisher to rework The Gamble with Time as a spoof of Bulldog Drummond, a fictional detective from the 1920s. Fisher's draft script centered around Scaglione, a member of the Sephiroth race, who had become fractured in time in an accident. The script was mainly set in the year 1928, with the Doctor and Romana, aided by Drummond-esque detective Pug Farquharson, I guess that's how it's pronounced, on the trail of the stolen Mona Lisa, pursuing Scaglione from Paris to Monte Carlo, where his partner, the Baroness Heidi, is using time travel technology to cheat at roulette at the casino to fund Scaglione's time travel experiments. Other settings included Paris in 1979, Leonardo da Vinci's studio in the year 1508, and prehistoric Earth. At this point, production unit manager John Nathan Turner had worked out that the production team could afford to film on location in Paris with a stripped-down crew. This necessitated a rewrite to Fisher's script to move the action to Paris and, for cost reasons, to drop the 1920s setting. The Doctor's robotic dog companion, K9, also had to be removed from the script as the cost of bringing the robot dog and subways to Paris was prohibitive. Aww, it would have been nice to see what happened if K9 had been in this story. However, Fisher was going through a divorce, and his personal situation meant that he was unable to perform the rewrites. This meant that script editor Douglas Adams, aided by Graham Williams, had to perform a couple rewrite of the story over the course of a weekend. According to Adams, Graham Williams, quote, took me back to his place, locked me in his study, and hosed me down with whiskey and black coffee for a few days, and there was a script, end quote. The revised script, now titled The Curse of the Sephiroth, was credited to David Agnew, a standard pseudonym used by the BBC and which had been previously used on Doctor Who for the season 15 serial The Invasion of Time. The serial was subsequently retitled City of Death on May 8, 1979. Adams would later reuse elements of City of Death, along with the unfinished serial Shada, in his novel Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency. In Part 1, Romano makes a throwaway reference to a great art gallery called the Brixton Collection. The Virgin New Adventurers novel series will later expand on this, including the character Irving Braxitel, a Time Lord. Braxitel also appeared in the Bernice Summerfield series of novels and audio dramas, and in the Gallifrey series of audio dramas. Interesting. Julian Glover was a well-established character actor who had previously appeared in Doctor Who as Richard the Lionheart in The Crusade. Glover was reluctant to don a Jagroth mask, created for scenes where Scarleone had shed his human disguise, as he felt the mask would impede his performance. As a result, he is dubbed by Richard Shiki in many of these scenes. Tim Chadbon was cast as Dugan on account of his resemblance to Franco-Belgian comics hero Tintin. Peter Halliday had previously appeared in several Doctor Who serials, including The Invasion and Doctor Who and the Silurians. Douglas Adams knew John Cleese and Eleanor Braun through his connections with Monty Python and the Footlights. On learning that both would be working in BBC Television Centre on the day the art gallery scenes were to be recorded, persuaded them to make a cameo in a short scene written for two Englishmen. Cleese and Braun agreed on the condition that there would be no pre-publicity regarding their appearance. Cleese wanted them to be credited as, quote, Helen Swantesky and Kim Bread, but the BBC declined. Cleese liked the name Kim Bread and used it in later projects. During recording, Cleese and Baker also recorded 2 short comedy skits for the BBC Christmas tape. Nice! City of Death director Michael Hayes had previously directed the Doctor Who serials The Andros of Tara and The Armageddon Factor. He also had experience filming in Paris, having worked there on the adaptations of Maigret and other George Simenon stories for the BBC. Location filming took place in Paris between April 30th, 1979 and May 3rd, 1979. It proved a difficult shoot as the dates coincided with the May Day holiday period, which meant that many of the locations chosen for filming were closed, necessitating considerable improvisation on the part of the cast and crew. Model filming was conducted at Bray Studios between May 8, 1979 and May 10, 1979. These concentrated on the shots of the Jagroth spacecraft taking off from the prehistoric Earth and were overseen by Ian Scoones, a veteran of Gary Anderson's Thunderbirds. Following rehearsals, production moved to BBC Television Centre, where the remaining scenes were recorded in 2 blocks. The first between May 21, 1979 and May 22, 1979, and the second between June 3, 1979 and June 5, 1979. Tom Baker found filming in Paris to be a very different experience to what he was used to in the UK, where large crowds would gather to watch the filming and meet the stars. Doctor Who was not shown in France at the time, and so the cast and crew were largely ignored. Lalla Ward found City of Death the most challenging Doctor Who serial she worked on, but was pleased with the final outcome, saying, quote, We had to film loads of scenes in the rain and cloud. There was no glamour in it at all. It was different from the ordinary stories, too, and I liked the finished result, end quote. Seeing her costumes as an important part in creating the role of Romana, Ward clashed with costume designer Doreen James, rejecting the silver catsuit James had designed for her for the story. Ward came up with the idea for the schoolgirl costume she wore in conjunction with Baker, recalling, quote, "I thought it'd be fun to wear something that the little girls probably hated wearing because it might cheer them up. I didn't bank on the fact that I'd get loads of letters from their fathers saying, 'Cool school uniform,'" end quote. Yeah, well, what are you gonna do? So overall, this was a pretty entertaining story, and like I said, it's definitely considered one of the best of the Four Doctor era. So, overall, I give City of Death 5 sonic screwdrivers out of 5. Well, join me next week as we take a look at The Creature from the Pit. So, until then, this is Hoovy and Queen saying, "Oh my giddy aunt! When I say run, run! I've reversed the polarity of the neutron flow. Would you like a jelly baby? Fantastic! Allons-y! Geronimo!" Bow ties are cool, fezzes are cool, and Stetsons are cool.